there about a week before the crackdown, and it was a very lively event, almost a carnival atmosphere. You had children dancing and people were singing, even policemen were singing together with the protesters. It was well organized, and I think everybody knew that this couldn't keep going on forever. And I didn't think it was going to go on forever, and we were all just sort of wondering what the Chinese government was going to do to these protesters. One picture that I had photographed of the woman being caught in the middle of many soldiers near the Great Hall of the People, in my mind, is where it started. The evening of June 3rd was the time when things really started heating up, and so all the protesters started bringing steel barricades and putting them in the middle of the street to block the advance of the soldiers who might be coming that night. And I was talking to my reporter, and then we heard this noise of metal crashing on the ground, and we're all thinking, what's going on? You know, what's happening? Then this armored personnel carrier comes around the corner so fast that there's sparks coming off the treads. Everybody was running and screaming, and I ran off and jumped into some ivy. And then I had to pull myself up and go running after this armored car when I really just wanted to run in the opposite direction. When I got there, my battery power and my flash was almost zero, and I could only take one picture every 60 seconds. So imagine on one of the largest stories of the 20th century, and you can only take one picture every minute while all hell's breaking loose. One man was on the ground, on fire, rolling around. Another man was helping him, and I'm just going, come on, come on, come on. And the flash would not recycle, and I'm waiting what seemed to be an eternity. And I lifted it to my eye, and the minute I lifted it to my eye, my neck snapped back. I looked down, blood's all over me, and I had a massive concussion from a brick from a protester had thrown. And I looked at the back of the armored car that was on fire, and this is now getting very close to midnight. And then out came a soldier to surrender. He had his hands up in the air. And I still remember that pristine look of his uniform, how pressed it was. It was clear as day in my mind. I remember it so clearly. And the mob looked at him for a second, and then they slowly moved in, and they had pipes and they had weapons of all kinds, and they started beating on him. And I looked at that, and I couldn't take a picture. And I thought to myself, I'm going to lose the Pulitzer Prize. And then I thought to myself, I should be ashamed for thinking something like that because he's about to die. I was not staying at the Beijing Hotel, but the Beijing Hotel was the location closest to the Tiananmen Square. This is where journalists were going, trying to get some kind of an idea on what was going on. And everybody was scared. I've never been so scared. Out of all the assignments I've been on, I've never been so scared as this story. Fortunately, I managed to get to the Beijing Hotel, and we made it to the roof. I went out to the balcony, and I kept looking at the bullet hole over my head because there was one bullet hole. It kept reminding me that I could easily get picked off by a sniper, so it was very unsettling to be leaning over a balcony and trying to shoot around a wall. And the man walks out in the middle of the street with his shopping bags, and the first thing I told Kirk, I said, this guy's going to screw up my composition. So Kirk's looking at me, and he's saying, they're going to kill that guy, they're going to shoot him. So I'm focusing, waiting for the man to be shot. And I'm just waiting and waiting. I know it's going to happen. I mean, they're not going to let him get away with this. And I'm waiting, and I'm focusing and waiting, and nothing happens. And then I'm thinking, you know, this picture's too far away. It's just too far away. And I'm looking at the bed, and I'm thinking, do I take a gamble and get this teleconverter? So I get the teleconverter, I gamble, I put it on the lens, I go 1, 2, 3. I wonder what happened to him, like anyone, but the big question is, it's shocking that after a quarter of a century, not only we do not know where he is, we don't know where his relatives are. You'd think a relative would come forward. And what happened to the tank crew? What happened to the driver? What happened to the crew? They've disappeared off the face of the planet. I mean, those guys have lives, they've got families, where are they? Where is everybody? It's like the Twilight Zone, they just disappeared.